Jehoiakim First Fruits. This is a chapter by chapter Bible study series, and we're in 2 Kings chapter 24. We said goodbye to Josiah last chapter, and hello to Jehoiakim. Not a happy hello though, because he's still doing what's evil in the Lord's sight. Chapter 24. During Jehoiakim's reign, King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon attacked. Jehoiakim became his vassal for 3 years. Basically, Babylon ruled over Judah. Then he turned and rebelled against him. The Lord sent Chaldean, Aramean, Moabite, Ammonite raiders against Jehoiakim. He sent them against Judah to destroy it according to the word of the Lord he had spoken through his servant the prophets. This was the prophecy that we read about in 2 Kings 12:15. Indeed, this happened to Judah at the Lord's command to remove them from his presence. It was because of the sins of Manasseh, according to all he had done, and also because of all the innocent he had shed. He had filled Jerusalem with innocent blood, and the Lord was not willing to forgive. When we heard and read about Manasseh, we also read about a parallel account in 2 Chronicles where Manasseh actually repents. This right here is showing us that while forgiveness is available for individuals, some national transgressions cannot be wiped free. Scholars believe that this innocent bloodshed was that of people against the false idolatry and the pagan worship. And we all know that God is 100% just, so he can't just turn a blind eye to all of the innocent blood that was shed in Jerusalem. And then we swiftly go from Jehoiakim to Jehoiachin. They were really running out of name ideas here. Don't get too attached to Jehoiachin because he only reigns for 3 months. And he also did what was evil in the Lord's sight. But a lot happened in that 3 months. It says in verse 10, "At that time, the servants of King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon marched up to Jerusalem, and the city came under siege. King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon came to the city while his servants were besieging it. King Jehoiachin of Judah, along with his mother, his servants, his commanders, and his officials, surrendered to the king of Babylon." So the king of Babylon took him captive in the 8th year of his reign. He also carried off from there all of the treasures of the Lord's temple and the treasures of the king's palace, and he cut into pieces all of the gold articles that King Solomon of Israel had made for the Lord's sanctuary, just as the Lord predicted. He deported all Jerusalem and all the commanders and all the best soldiers, 10,000 captives, including all the craftsmen and the metalsmiths, except for the poorest people of all the land. No one remained. This was a big deal because we see now temple poverty, which is mirroring spiritual poverty of Jerusalem and the people that of Jerusalem. Do you remember when we were reading about how God's presence came to the temple when Solomon finally built up this beautiful temple for the Lord? 1 Kings 8. There was a beautiful dedication in the temple of the Lord. It was just such a beautiful moment. A cloud of God's presence came into the temple. And then in 2 Chronicles, there's an account mentioned where a fire coming down from heaven received the offerings in the temple. The Lord's presence rested there. After Nebuchadnezzar deported all of the people of Jerusalem, he made Mattaniah, Jehoiachin's uncle, king in his place and changed his name to Zedekiah. He became a puppet king for the king of Babylon. Verse 19, Zedekiah did what was evil in the Lord's sight, just as Jehoiakim had done and many other kings in Jerusalem. Because of the Lord's anger, it came to the point in Jerusalem and Judah that he finally banished them from his presence. And next chapter, we will see the complete destruction. This goes on and on and on. And God is so slow to anger, patient God. And God warned them constantly with prophets. In Deuteronomy 28, when he told them, listen, you really got to listen to these laws. This chapter makes me so thankful for the new covenant. Because when I hear of God banishing someone from his presence, it is my biggest fear. I never, ever want to be apart from the Father and his presence on my life, because I know that without him, I would never be happy. I would never be secure. I would just be so lost. This dismantling of the temple foreshadows a greater reality. Jesus later teaches us that the physical temple is temporary, that he himself is the ultimate, indestructible temple. The new covenant, the covenant based on Jesus' finished work, an indwelling Holy Spirit. We don't have to travel to a temple anymore and be worried about losing God's presence or being away from God's presence. We have a promise from Christ, multiple, that he is always with us. Matthew 28:20, I'm always with you. I'm with you always. Hebrews 13:5, I will never leave you. I will never forsake you. While we cannot be eternally separated from God's presence, sin does affect our relationship with him. Believers, talking to you. Sin hinders and grieves the Holy Spirit. There's negative consequences of that. He withdraws. The Bible also talks about not a loss of salvation, but a loss of rewards in heaven. 1 Corinthians 3:11-15. It hints at the fact that we could lose heavenly rewards. And our God disciplines like a father. He wouldn't love us if he didn't. Hebrews 12:5-11. And just because we have Jesus does not mean that we should not heed to the warnings that are in the Bible. Look at what happens when we ignore God's warnings. You should have peace today, knowing that it is easier for us now to stay in God's presence than ever before. We don't have temple poverty or spiritual poverty. We have temple richness and spiritual richness. So the Holy Spirit. Thank you for watching this 4 a.m. and I'll see you in the next 4 a.m. when we cover chapter 25.